Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. It has ended. The playoff that refused to end bled late into the witching hour at the RBC Canadian Open. Soly here. TC is here. Hello, TC.
What a day. What a sporting day it was, Soly. We had Alcaraz Sinner, and then we had that Foxy Bermuda Burns playoff. Just a day for the ages.
Epic stuff. Neil Schuster is here. Hello, Acrito.
Greetings. Can we make this a tennis pod tonight?
There might be more tennis to talk about than golf. Hey, we're keeping it tight tonight. We are, because we have maybe 10 hours of podcasting coming later this week for the United States Open, and we're not going to burn ourselves out before we even get into it. We're in full prep mode for the U.S. Open. We gave you 3 key features to look out for at Oakmont. They have the green expansions, unpredictable ditches that come into play on a bunch of the holes, the rough. One other thing, need you to look out for next week, new limited edition shoes that arrived from Footjoy called Legends Liberty. The third of 4 drops in the Legends Series collection feature an exclusive Premier Series packer that commemorates an amazing milestone. Way back in 1945, the tour started collecting equipment usage data from players to understand what products are being used. Footjoy was the number 1 shoe that year, 1945, and every year since. That is 80 consecutive years of being the preferred shoes for the best players in the world. Amazing feat. You consider how much and how often equipment trends and requirements change, all that stuff. The Footjoy formula was established in the early days, is still utilized today. An unrelenting commitment to golf-specific innovation that delivers best-in-class performance, comfort, and style. The Legends Liberty is a tribute to that legacy, launched for the U.S. Open, engineered for performance, designed to honor Footjoy's long-standing commitment to crafting the best golf shoes in the world. Legends Liberty launched Tuesday on Footjoy.com. Also, they always got a bunch of great U.S. Open stuff. I got my U.S. Open t-shirt here ready to go. I got like U.S. Open sweatpants as well. They got a bunch of good licensed U.S. Open stuff. So,
Soly, Neil and I actually got into an argument.
A bit of a kerfuffle, actually.
Our first round of golf this week on our trip. We both busted out the Footjoy Premier Series, the Field Carolinas that they did for, Quail Hollow Week. And I was like, I planned my outfit around these.
And as did I.
I'm wearing them today.
Who won?
And then 2 days
Who
later,
won?
I did.
TC was about to start crying, so I let him have it. I put the Hyperflexes on and blew his doors off.
He did blow my doors off.
Winners from around the world. Ryan Fox wins the RBC Canadian Open. He's in my ass. Joaquin Niemann wins in Virginia, as do the Crushers. I still don't know why okay, we'll get to that.
Spelunking around in there, solid.
Connor Syme wins the KLM Open. Austin Smotherman wins the BMW Charity Pro-Am. Jennifer Kupcho wins the ShopRite LPGA Classic. Samantha Wagner wins the Firekeepers Casino Hotel Championship on the Epson Tour. They got the sickest.
That one's sick. That one's up the one that's way up in the UP, right?
I don't know. It's a sweet name, though. I just laugh. Firekeepers.
At the RBC Canadian Open, Sam Burns shot a final round 62 to take the clubhouse lead at 4:02 Eastern. I could not have pictured a world where he would have ended the day as the punchline, the Twitter punchline, but that's exactly what happened by the time the playoff finished. But he waited 2 hours for Ryan Fox to make it to the 18th hole. Fox needed birdie at the last to get in. He drained it from 17 feet. The playoff, I'm truly not going to go through it all. It lasted a long time.
Please don't.
Ryan Fox left a putt to win about a foot short. It was a very silly playoff. A very bad hole contributed to a very silly playoff, but they play it twice. They're still tied. They went out and recut a new hole in the front right. The first time they've done that.
Change the tees. Change the tees. It was the worst hole. We can get into the course, but just change the tees.
They tie again. Then the fourth time through, Fox hit an incredible fairway wood, stuffed it to 7 feet. But by that point, I think everybody was just exhausted. Just like, all right, finally somebody had a good shot here. Put the pressure on Burns. He hit the back left part of the green, but ran it way past and 3-putted. Fox would proceed to miss the putt.
He didn't even sniff the hole on that birdie putt either.
And he would have to mark the one coming back.
And he was still away, which is remarkable as far as it was a true match play situation.
Yeah. But Ryan Fox, second win of the season, wins the week before yet another major championship, plays his way into another major, gets into the Masters with this one. This is not an opposite field win. TC, I'm very excited for this. I know you want to stick it to me over this fake Foxy thing, yet at the same time, this golf course was a complete joke. So how are you gonna prove that Foxy's a proper player to me now, yet also rip into this venue? You thread these needles better than anybody that I know.
Yeah, I mean, this is one from I just got this in the DMs. Hey, mate, Scottish golf fan living in the U.S. for 6 years, and I can't stand the bullshit Soly pipes out dissing the Euro Tour. Take him to the fucking cleaners tonight, TC. Our boy Ryan Fox is an athlete, developed his game on all the various different courses the European Tour offers. Comes across the boring fucking boom and chip, pathetic PGA Tour, and no doubt shows who the best golfer is. And it's not the one-dimensional Bermuda Burns. Is there a more boring player out there? The Euro Tour is strong. It needs investment, but fuck me. It's a more entertaining product than the bullshit, overwatered, fake green, backspin, boring PGA Tour shit we are sadly exposed to every week. Take care. Keep fighting for the European Tour. Otherwise, all we hear is the boring stat-based piss from Soly. Happy Sunday.
Lot to go on there. Soly, your rebuttal.
Oh God, I got egg on my face there. That just disproves anything I've ever said. Again, I still don't have it. That genius move from TC didn't answer the question.
He didn't answer the question. He
flipped. He threads the needle. He's
fighting a proxy war, Soly.
Soly. I mean, Foxy. He plays super fast.
Can you summarize that DM for me, just like in one sentence? I don't understand. I don't understand the.
Well, it kind of was TC's argument that it's the eye test. He's a proper player because I guess he plays on many different types of courses on the Euro Tour.
Then they go to this shit golf course that's terrible, and he wins. So what does that prove? Like,
I'm trying to translate. I'm stuck in
these words. He's already proven everything he possibly could on the European Tour. What would this possibly prove?
Listen, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I like Foxy. He plays fast.
You can pin me on this. I have nothing but love for Ryan Fox. He's a pleasure to watch play golf.
Great shot in the playoff there to finally kind of put it away. But I mean, like you said, like he's not strong with the putter. That putt that he left, the putt to win it that he left a foot short. That was absolutely brutal. But he's a class bloke. I'll continue to root for him. I think his best golf's still ahead of him. The President's Cup international team put out a tweet congratulating him after they left him off the team the last 2 iterations as well. No, but I don't know. Just overall this week, I thought I didn't catch much of it at all. I watched a little bit of it yesterday and then the playoff today. It's just the venue's one thing. It seemed like the tour just totally botched the setup as well, just with various holes. I was texting with a couple of players and they were like, yeah, like I'm not normally one to bitch about setup, but like this week was like a travesty. The copy paste bunkering. I know Ian Andrew did stuff up there. I like Ian, super talented architect. He's kind of the Stanley Thompson guy. And just, it's like they just copy and pasted the same bunkers on every hole up there. And the parking situation sounded like a dumpster fire. The shuttle situation, you guys know that stuff gets me fired up.
Of course.
I think this is the 10th year in a row that they've had the tournament in the greater Toronto area. And I got all the Canadians in my DMs all pissy about, where else are we supposed to host that? I don't know. You're like you're the second largest country on earth. Figure it out. And, it's early June, TC. Not that many courses can host it in early June because they're still coming out. All right, cool. Then move it back. Move it back to early July, mid-July, whatever. Figure it out. You got plenty of great courses in Canada. I'm actually sticking up for Canada in that you have plenty of great courses. Figure out some better ones to host this at. Hamilton is great down on the west side of the Toronto area. St. George's was fine as well. And then move it around. Alberta, British Columbia, whatever. RBC, you're doing your country a disservice. It's disgusting. Next topic.
Sheesh.
It was at no point. Look, I get it. There's good crowds out there. I give them credit for that. They do the hockey rink thing, all that. It's played out, but that's whatever. It's their chance to see top level golf come to their area, and they support it. So that's not the issue here. It just like from a television product and watching it, it just never doesn't feel like a big golf tournament. And that's
like national opens are a big deal. They should be a big deal. This should be one of the top 7 or 8 biggest golf tournaments in the world. It's not.
I would say the only bright spot, just flipping it on after the tennis which was fantastic, by the way, was the drone. The drone tracer continues to get better with the good bad like chance of hitting the fairway. I loved it.
It was pretty good.
It was fantastic, and I thought the land itself that the golf course was on looked pretty interesting.
Neil,
You know,
Neil, we used to ski up there.
I know it was like it's
Like
rolling
talented.
hills. It looks
Yeah.
like you could build a really cool golf course up there. And then like the arena of 18 as an atmosphere seemed great, but Soly, like I'm sure you can highlight better than me. It's like, well, everybody's just laying up on this hole. Like you could pretty much hit your driver as long as you can find it. Like you're all going to end up hitting that 190 to 100-yard shot right by that spectator crosswalk into 18, which we saw six times in a row, I think.
That's where the question we got. SH Max Schmarter. I don't know where the initial stop and the words begin there, but asked, "Does architecture really matter?" And I was like, "Yes." Like that. This 18th hole was the answer. Why? I mean, especially where you're going to set up the tees. I get it. That was into the wind today, but like, I don't know if they're worried about getting everybody through 18. It becomes a log jam if everybody's backs up to the whole golf course. If you have everybody going at 18 and 2, I get that, but like, put some shot value on the tee shot. Like there was a reason why everyone was pulling their hair out in that playoff. It was a horrible golf hole to play on repeat. And then Foxy on the one hole, the one time around that he did try to go for the green, Chunk sprays it way right, and it somehow ends up in a perfect spot to just chip right up the hill. That was actually the time they left the putt short.
Solid. They need to shave the rough. It's an international
it,
thing now. Shave
it
the rough
just
down in
yeah,
front of the hazard.
it comes down to like what is going to make this next week very special and what makes the PGA Tour difficult to get super into. I get that if you tune in golf on Sunday and just want to watch the finish of a tournament, you don't care about this stuff. I totally get that. For us that watch it in detail every single week, it gets really mundane when the championship gets decided like that, especially on the 18th hole. And like next week is going to be so completely different. And I get it's a major, like that's kind of where a lot of our critiques and constant criticism of PGA Tour golf courses stem from. A lot of them are very similar in this regard. In this stretch, like once the majors start, there's just not a lot of great golf courses that we see. I mean, Memorial's fun, Travelers is fun, but then when you get into the 3Ms and a bunch of the other ones, there's just way too much of this that goes on. It's easy to check out.
I'm fine with most PGA Tour courses. I get it.
They're fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but like this one, this is one of the few ones lately that's been like offensive, and then they moved up the tees 50 to 60 yards on 16 and 17 today, but then left the tees back on 18. That didn't make a lot of sense. There's 53 other holes on this property. Like, just send them to go play the rink hole, or Solly, like you said, like do a chip off at some point. Like it was like that DP World Tour event 10 or 12 years ago. I think it was the Spanish Open where they played like the same shitty par 4 10 times in a row, or that LPGA event down in Dallas that I think it was like Paula Creamer and somebody that they just kept playing like the worst par 5 I've ever seen. And at least that's like interesting, right? Or the one in Mexico earlier this year. Like that was at least interesting. And it's like a car crash that you can't turn away from. This was just wildly bland and some of the worst wedges I've ever seen into 18.
There's a question here from Wallace Philium. What would be the most fun rule for playoff situations like this? I think we kind of danced around it earlier, but just implementing we're moving up a tee every time back.
I've got to go. Other than driver and putter, maybe even driver. Every time you can't use the same
club.
You got to drop a club every time. If you've used 3-wood, like you got to lay up with a different. You got to get rid of your lob wedge. You've used that. You can keep putter in the bag, but you can only use your driver once. And then you got to just kind of cycle through clubs.
See, I prefer this versus them playing a different hole. Like I like the idea of implementing a creative rule like this, or like because they moved the hole. It's like, whoa, never seen anything like that.
That's the thing. They moved the hole, but then they said we couldn't possibly move the tee box because we didn't tell the players that we could do that ahead of time. It's like,
well, tell the players you could do that ahead of time. That if you need to,
just give them a gentleman's agreement.
Just tell them, hey guys, if you guys tie, we're moving the tees up next
this?
time back here. Just like before, on the third playoff hole, if there's a fourth playoff hole, we're moving the tees up.
Yeah. I mean, they just came up with the tour championship stuff last week.
I know,
right?
For sure. Soly, before we move on, I want to talk a little Sam Burns.
Sure.
We've been calling. I mentioned in the Slack, but the boys club, the Ryder Cup boys club, is going to be the little boys club for a while. Okay, that was missed a 5-footer, maybe a 6-footer on the first playoff hole to ice it. 62. Hats off to Sam Burns, but I feel like he's been the forgotten man for a while. If he had won today, I would have felt like it was a bit like Hovland winning at Valspar. Just kind of popped up, got a win, and I bet he's, with his brand name and his past Ryder Cup appearances, I think he finds his way onto that team. Maybe not as much now, but that's what I was thinking about watching this playoff. And I'm like, man, that's not getting me excited for the midfield of the USA team. It's a bunch of little boys, other than Xander. Xander looks like a little boy with his outfits, but other than Scotty and Bryson, and then I'll throw Xander in there, it's just like, what are we doing? There's no depth on the US team. So I just I was a little disappointed that Burns couldn't get it done in the playoff.
I don't know what to think in regards to this, because it was going to be like, oh shit, do we have to fight off a guaranteed spot for Sam Burns if he wins this? Because I don't think that's a good situation to be in. As I've said,
you're giving up Andrew Novak's.
I know Andrew Novak's spot is gone, and we got to. Is JJ Spawn's spot gone now? I can't keep track. We have to give one to Burns. I am of the opinion that make or miss in the playoff, win or lose this tournament, I think he's probably going to be around the same player if he plays in the Ryder Cup or not. So that's kind of the long-winded way of the way I've come up with my stance for the Ryder Cup. I think this shouldn't affect things greatly. I think like Sam has Loki played some really good golf over his last 6 golf tournaments, right? He's an emerging trend of waking up from a year-long slumber. He's not been playing very well. If he plays like this through the end of the year, do I think he becomes a stronger candidate to make the team? Yes. Should he make it because he was there on Rome and can buddy up with Scotty Scheffler? No, I don't think those are great reasons why, but the bottom is out there to be won by somebody, and he's certainly a candidate for it. But again, I will stress we have a long ways to go, and we could completely forget about this little spike in decent play come several months from now, just like we likely will with Andrew Novak, whether you guys admit it or not.
Sam Burns gets you excited, Soly?
Doesn't get me excited. Not a lot is going to get me excited about the way the bottom of this team fills out. I think that's kind of been my whole point from the jump. I've still not even said that Spieth should be on the team, and I'm getting very angry DMs from people like, how fucking dare you?
Odds on, baby. Odds on.
I think he is more likely to be, but I have not penned him in on the team, and people are still getting unreasonably upset about any of these comments, which I'm looking forward to the discourse over the next several months on all of that. But again, I think today changes nothing other than like, oh, okay, Sam Burns playing some good golf, but I probably would have said the same if he finished T5 today as well. Cameron Young. That's interesting.
Signs of life. Again, not a great golf. I think that there were some guys that Matt McCarty played well, proper player. Mateo Manacero up there.
Is he going to be on the European team?
Yeah, the chloroform.
You got to put him in. He's top 10.
Left snipes going.
How do you not put him on the team?
Victor Perez played well.
Put him on the
David
team.
Skins, Ludwig, 65, 66 on the weekend. He's showing signs. Shane Lowry, Danny Willett, put him on the team. Jesper Svensson, one of the Paul brothers, Jeremy Paul, playing well. Thomas Dietrich. But Soly, I think whenever you see Cameron Champ on the first page of a leaderboard, you just got to think, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Is that an architect's worst nightmare? I mean,
it's just
coming for you.
He was 8th in strokes gained off the tee. He's just not a good golfer. He's a good driver of the golf ball. Not a good golfer. He's like the American Pendrith.
That's why it gets frustrating to break down a golf tournament. We're like, they weren't really even like testing anything that was worth.
It's just not a serious event.
Right. That's where I'm at. Speaking of very unserious, Rory McIlroy shot 71-78 to miss the cut by a mile. He said about the driver, he said, still, I felt like I came here obviously with a new driver thinking that sort of was going to be good and solve some of the problems off the tee, but it didn't. Obviously going to Oakmont next week, what you need to do more than anything else there is hit fairways. Obviously for me, when I get that part of the game clicking, then everything falls into place for me. Right now, that isn't. Yeah, that's a concern going into next week. So I went back to a 44-inch driver this week to try to get something that was a little more in control and could try to get something a bit more in play. I was saying to Harry going down the last time is the second time this year I've tried the new version, and it hasn't quite worked out for me. So I'd say I'll be testing quite a few drivers over the weekend. Guys, I've refused to believe this is just a bad driver head or a driver head that failed the test that caused this big of an effect. He can't find a similar driver head in that model of driver to match up with that.
If that's true, Soly, then I would probably start to get more vocal about, I would love to know more about these tests and who's failing them. And because like that has a lot of implications on, especially
as far as I know, guys get tested
it's
twice a year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he said this week that he was tested in March. The last time it was tested was in March. And then tested again in May, and that's where it failed. Anyways, so question, is it
Transparency would be great from
it
everybody.
would. The whole process stinks. I think
when Peter Costas is the voice of reason on X, the everything app, he had a great take this week. He's like, this comes back to transparency, like everything else with the PGA Tour and the lack thereof. And
but it seemed a little misguided because this was USGA and PGA of America at the PGA Championship. I guess unless you're saying, well, why isn't the PGA Tour doing this every week? I think is
it's basically like they're throwing the ball into the PGA Tour's court and saying, hey, how do you guys want to handle this? These tests are normally confidential. You know, like they're not trying to piss the tour off or the players. They're trying to do it like they're testing on behalf of the PGA of America and the PGA Tour each week.
Yeah, which we can get into some of that. But the question from our man 18, is it time to consider a bet of Rory missing the cut at Oakmont? We have a full Oakmont preview to go, but just a simple question there.
I think that'll be one of the more fascinating. I mean, I guess I was of the mind that Rory was going to be rejuvenated, monkey off his back, wanting to just feeling like he's just running downhill after the Masters. And it seems like it's kind of had the opposite effect of he seems, just exhausted or disinterested. I know sounds like he's been working with a crisis PR team for the last few months and just not a
good vibe.
It just doesn't seem like golf is the priority right now for him.
Which I don't understand because it's like Rory's so good. It's like he's so good with the media, and now it's like he's just. It's like he's listening to other people about this stuff.
We'll dive into
before we do. Sorry, the 44-inch driver thing. So I went back to a 44-inch driver. How long has he not? How has he been playing a 45-inch driver? That's the other piece of this. It's like, well, you changed the length of your driver. Maybe that kind of threw some things off.
Well, I think it was like the 45 or whatever the length was going bad. It was going crooked. All right, let's do a shorter driver to try to get the ball straightened out here. And that still didn't work, I think is kind of what he was getting at there.
Kind of like when I did the steel shafted driver on Strapped, Listen, there are some unintended consequences when you change shafts. Come on. We all know that.
He was 9 over this week. I mean, at some point, some of that just had to be like,
I'm done. Cash me out.
I'd like my weekend back, please.
There's got to be a feeling of like, dude, this place is not helping me get ready for Oakmont right now.
He lost a gentleman named Cougar Collins, a Canadian gentleman named Cougar Collins by 3. Mike Weir lost to him by 5. A variety of Canadian amateurs. And shout out to Gordon Sargent, -1 in his pro debut, tied with Luke Clanton and David Ford. And the international superstar Tom Kim. So,
not bait me into this. Listen, before we a quick word from our friends at Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of No Laying Up. Summer's here. It is the perfect excuse to book that long overdue golf trip, whether you're planning a family escape or rounding up your crew for a big weekend. Omni has 13 golf destinations from coast to coast that are ready to host you. The recently renovated Oak Marsh at Omni Amelia Island in Florida. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I had a tee time scheduled for this past Thursday. I got such a bad massage on Monday, TC, that it re-aggravated tendonitis in my forearms. I haven't been able to make a fist for the entire week. It was a horrible,
with that super hard pressure.
It was a horrible mistake.
We need to take that offline. I need to know where you're getting your massage.
That sounds
it was an emergency. It was like it was an emergency. It was a very bad decision, but I'm going to make it up there in 2 weeks. I'm desperate to get up there.
Soly went
to so bad. Anyways,
the sketchy
hold that thought, TC.
From Florida to the mountain views and timeless layout at Omni Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia. No shortage of summer golf destinations to explore. And while you're out there, why not get competitive? The Omni Generation Cup is back for season 2 with qualifiers running every month at Omni golf destinations across the country. Grab your family and tee it up for a day of fun and camaraderie, plus a chance to compete for a spot in the 2026 National Championship. Your summer trip is calling. Head to omnihotels.com/golf and play the possibilities. Now, back to the show.
I need to sign up with Freddie in the Generation Cup.
I get the Generation Cup with Freddie. I'm dying to play in it, but we don't have any family members that can, keep it under 120.
Get PD out
or
on the
just
golf course.
Score even. No, Freddie, he had PGA Junior League today. He requested that he play with his friend Fletcher today, and he's like, Dad, I requested to play with Fletcher. because you and Fletcher's dad are friends, and I wanted you guys to just be able to hang out together while you were watching us.
Awesome.
And
thing to
then
say.
Kid.
he had a great putt. He didn't take the flag out on the 9th hole to putt, and it hit the flag stick and bounced out. And I'm like, well, we're gonna work on that. But just teaching these kids like the little cues of when it's their turn. Like I was the marker for the group today, so I had to write down all the scores and stuff. And
We'll keep it track.
they're all so worried about par. Instead of, I'm like, just count your strokes up. Kids. It does not matter what the par, because they're playing from like the middle of the fairway on certain holes. I'm like, just par is irrelevant. All right. This is a problem throughout golf.
We've been screaming that for 11 years.
TC, maybe now I'm thinking about it. Maybe you and I should join the Generations Cup. Just wreck people.
That's interesting. As mentioned, here is Rory finally speaking to media this week about all the weirdness that went down around the PGA. We talked a lot about this, so I feel like we need to close the book on this one.
And going back to the PGA for 1 second, considering all the good vibes you sort of brought into that after the Masters, it was a little surprising when you didn't speak after any of your rounds. A few weeks removed, can you sort of let us know maybe what was up with that? Was it performance related? Was it something else? And more broadly, where do you think the level of responsibility is, or perhaps should be, for players to speak to the media after rounds?
Look, the PGA was a bit of a weird week. I didn't play well. I didn't play well the first day, so I wanted to go practice, so that was fine. Second day, we finished late. I wanted to go back and see Poppy before she went to bed. The driver news broke. I didn't really want to speak on that. Saturday, I was supposed to tee off at 8:20 in the morning. I didn't tee off until almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Another late finish. Was just tired, wanted to go home. And then Sunday, I just wanted to get on the plane and go back to Florida. So, and also like the driver stuff, I was a little pissed off because I knew that Scotty's driver had failed on Monday, but my name was the one that was leaked. It was supposed to stay confidential. 2 members of the media were the ones that leaked it. So why, I didn't want to get up there and say something that I regretted either, because there's a lot of people that I'm trying to protect Scotty. I don't want to mention his name. I'm trying to protect TaylorMade. I'm trying to protect the USGA, PGA of America, myself. So I just didn't want to get up there and say something that I regretted at the time. And with Scotty's stuff, like, that's not my information to share. I knew that had happened, but that's not on me to share that. And I felt that process is supposed to be kept confidential, and it wasn't for whatever reason. And that's why I was pretty annoyed at that. And then from a responsibility standpoint, look, I understand, but if we all wanted to, we could all bypass you guys, and we could just go on this, and we could go on social media, and we could talk about our round and do it our own way. We understand that that's not ideal for you guys, and there's a bigger dynamic at play here. And I talk to you guys and I talk to the media a lot. I think there should be an understanding that this is a two-way street, and as much as we need to speak to you guys, we're sort of we understand the benefit that comes from you being here and giving us the platform and everything else. So I understand that, but again, I've been beating this drum for a long time. Like, if they want to make it mandatory, that's fine. But in our rules, it says that it's not, and until the day that's maybe written into the regulations, you're gonna have guys skip from time to time, and that's well within our rights.
It's a
Reaction.
A lot there.
A lot there.
A lot there.
I'd start with the driver testing stuff. I kind of wish there was a follow-up question of, like, what are you pissed about? Like, it's like, oh, these things happen. Like, I'm hearing two stories. It's like, oh, they test these drivers. Sometimes they fail. There was no intent. It's not the player's fault. You're pissed that it got leaked and it was confidential, but if you didn't do anything wrong, why does it matter if it got leaked? And like, why would you want to get up there and immediately like say that Scotty's driver failed too? Like, I guess I have
to mention Scotty's name. Like, he was.
That's what I mean. I don't understand why that is like you were pissed. So he said he was pissed. I want to know what he's pissed about, I guess is my
I think
I
if
had
somebody
a follow-up question.
in the testing process leaked it to media, right? And he said the media leaked it, which is not what media does. Media reports things. Like somebody leaked it to the media.
On the flip side, let's say Rory drives it like shit all week, and we have no idea why. That's an issue as well.
That's kind of what I've
Right?
been saying. These
Yeah.
tests should not be confidential.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it's actually, and then if you follow it up and say, "Hey, I'm really struggling to find a driver that was working as well as the one that just failed the test," it's like that is starting to become more of a story. And if you didn't know he failed the test, it'd just be like, I don't know. It just feels like they should be more
Well,
transparent.
and then on the flip side, I think with Rory, it's like, yeah, he shouldn't be put in a position to have to protect TaylorMade or protect the USGA, which I don't know, or the PGA Tour, or the PGA of America, or Scotty, or anybody else. Like they should just same thing with like I don't know. It's just weird to me too that like let's say they're taking personal responsibility out of these guys' hands as well. Of like it should be your responsibility to play with conforming equipment, and when that thing goes over the line, you better be damn sure that if they do just announce it publicly, or if they should test everybody's driver after, like the top 5 guys, they should test the driver after the round. And then, you know what? Like you better be damn sure that guys are going to make sure that their drivers are conforming at the beginning of the week, one way or another.
I think
Because
the hard part is like
I
the
just think
decimals. Like, but it's like the detail. Like, so what happened with Xander prior to 2019, whatever it was, or 18? Like, he was tested, I believe, by Callaway. It was within the league, the limit, and the different testing platform done by the RNA said he was barely over it. So it's like they got to figure out if this is important or not, right? Because like Kerry Haig's statements basically like it's like 1 year. Like, pros have said it's like 1 yard, whatever. Is it important? Then everybody should be tested, right? If it's not important, don't bother testing at all. Like, this is a silly
and the
thing.
3-woods are hot as shit. Like they don't test those,
That's where I agree with that, Soly. It's like we're either do it or don't, but they're just like halfway and they're keeping it confidential. It's like what are we? It's pointless.
And I think I guess I struggled with part like where he's the 4 different reasons why he skipped media all 4 days are just like
sucked.
yeah. I mean, I could go on my phone and talk about my round. Like that's not the point of media. It's like they're gonna ask a question like that is supposed to be representative of like what fans would like to hear an answer on. Like, yeah, you can go on there and say this, but like there's an art to like asking a question and having somebody answer it in some way. And if you say I don't want to answer it, that's telling in some way. You're not going to do that like on your own. I think too many of these guys view like the media as like the problem here when it's like the media is just like giving information to fans. This is your chance to speak to fans. You don't have to do this, but know that it is going to be viewed as I don't know, chicken shit at times. Like I believe those are the phrases we used after the US Open last time around. I wouldn't necessarily say it for this time around of like when you lose and storm off, like people are gonna like think differently of that. Like that's just kind of part of
it drains the credit in the bank. It gives you a little bit of insurance. It allows you to like honestly get out in front of some stuff. Like all
let narratives build.
Don't get
the reason
that get away from you.
The reason that people like him is because he does the right stuff a lot of the time.
He's missing it away.
You can't see that. And then also, like, I know at the PGA Championship for a fact that he slunk off and was really shitty in the way that he declined too. Right. It wasn't just like he was nope, not not gonna. And it's just that's frustrating. I think his intimation that unless they mandate everybody to do it, that he's picking up more than his fair share of the slack. I hear that from him because there's other guys that
I think that's fair.
Do the media at all. But also like going back to, whether it's Pinehurst or other places, juxtapose that with, I know Rory's a huge tennis fan. Juxtapose that with Yannick Sinner getting up today after losing and
just talk, bro.
The loser gets up and addresses the crowd and
without an interview.
Yes, like that's incredible, right? And it's at pretty much every tennis major championship, men's and women's, and juxtapose that with some of the chicken shit stuff that we see from the men's golfers, and the tennis stuff is in this arena of it's far more emotional and far more physically grueling and just psychologically taxing. It is a true mental game.
And you know what, TC? I was rooting against Sinner, and after the interview, I was kind of like, now I kind of feel bad for rooting against the guy.
Right?
Like,
Dude,
yeah,
I kind of like Sinner. I know I read up on the doping stuff. Anyway, we'll take that offline.
it is.
The doping stuff's outrageous.
It is, but I just doesn't strike me as a guy that would be cheating. I mean, he's on HGH. The guy's so spindly. It's crazy. Okay, my favorite part of the Rory stuff was, we could just bypass you guys and hop on our phones and talk directly to the audience. I was like, by all means, dude, would love to see you do that after a round. None of you guys are going to do that. So then what does that leave us with? Like, you could do it. You should do it. Honestly, it's going to leave us with nothing, because unless somebody asks you a question, you would never do that. All it's going to be is like your brand partner stuff on your Instagram. You're not going to speak directly to the fans. None of you do it.
Also, though, I just wanted to get on the plane. Like, you have your own plane. Like, it can take off 10 minutes later.
7 minutes later.
I know it doesn't have to be a full
You can meet with the media
sit-down.
for 4.5 minutes. I'm not even going to do questions today. I'm just going to issue a statement and talk for a couple minutes. Yeah, that blows me away. How far do you think, is it outside the realm of possibility that, like, I think Rory's likely moving to London? Is it outside the realm of possibility that Rory just rocks up to the majors and 3 or 4 other tournaments a year and just almost semi-retires for a little bit?
No.
Not out of the realm. I think that's unlikely. I think he would play closer to just Siggies, not even all the Siggies. I mean, he'd play the 15 minimum on the PGA Tour, I think.
I could see him dropping below that.
I could too, TC. I mean, I don't think
that's
likely, but
ask him in the media.
Yeah, next time I think they build up these talking in the media. I mean, I guess easy for me to say, but I don't find it to be that much of a burden to like join a media scrum. If somebody catches you like walking out of the locker room, like, yeah, if you don't want to go sit down at the podium, I get that, but you could probably still just like, hey man,
that's where relationships come in.
Like, I'm happy to answer a couple questions, but I'm trying to catch my bird.
Or
home.
hey, meet me out by my car and I'll talk to you specifically.
Yeah, I said it on a podcast, like I think it was right after the PGA. I'm like, I just don't know where this thing about the media is kind of like has been confrontational with any of these golfers, like other than Brian Harmon and his lust for blood and hunting at the Open Championship. I can't really think of anything else that is like out of bounds where people were like teeing somebody up. I mean, the tennis media is so much like harder on, like Sabalenka, like they're probing, they're I think much worse than the golf media. I don't know. I just think that's a false narrative that Morikawa was saying that, like, oh, you guys never come around when I'm happy. It's like, dude, you're the king of like walking around the range with your head down so no one talks to you. Like you only come and talk to me after a tough loss. It's like, that's just not true, man. Like,
well, it's also, if you don't like, people are going to fill in the gaps if you don't speak on it. Like, you're going to lose control of the narrative if you don't say things. It's kind of like the number one.
This is your opportunity to manipulate us. Like, take it. It's a gift.
Anyways,
one other thing I think that's getting washed out from Rory's stuff was just going back to, like, he said, yeah, you know what? Like, I just haven't been that motivated to go practice a bunch.
It's hard to practice for 3 and 4 hours after accomplishing that, which I get it. I don't love hearing that as somebody that roots for him as a competitor, but I mean, I'm sure it'll bounce back. I think I can understand that in the immediate aftermath, but it also kind of goes up against like, oh yeah, I think I'm good. These things are going to freely flow now. Or I'll be so much more freed up. I forget what the exact words are in that one. I was like, I don't know.
Check it out. If you think he's burned out now, wait until he goes back to Portrush and has to answer all those questions all over again.
Anyways, a couple other nuggets. Saw Tagala had to withdraw again. I think his 3rd withdrawal in the last 4 tournaments, something like that. Helps explain why he's outside the top 100 in the FedEx. It's been a real bummer of a year for Saif. I hope he's back up and healthy on a lot quicker. Then it seems it's lingering, and I want that to end very quickly for him.
Yeah.
Any other things you want to shout out here, TC?
No, I'm good. I will cede my time back. I do want to say that we said on the Epson tour earlier, Firekeepers is at Battle Creek. Then they go to Harbor Springs. They go to the Heather course up at Boyne.
Sick.
Next week, and then they go to the Island Resort Championship up at Sweetgrass Golf Club in Harris, Michigan, which is actually a really, really sick spot. So anyway,
Listen, I know I mentioned that bad massage. Not only did I miss my round of golf, I had to miss my week of workouts with the stack,
Oh,
the
no.
backyard workout that I've been raving about.
Do you
15,
think that's
20
what gave you
minutes.
the tendonitis?
No, it's not. I had my wrists were killing me from carrying the babies. And I was like, yeah, if you could just kind of work in this area. And then she just hit all the tendons in my forearm. And it was very, very bad. I'm back tomorrow though. I'm getting back on the horse because I was a speed merchant. I was absolutely ripping through it. Hit 115 stack speed the other day. And I'm getting my full speed back. If you've heard me talk a lot about it, you can go to thestacksystem.com/NLU. You can see a lot of our endorsements on there. You can see a lot of great benefits with this program. You go into your backyard, go wherever you want to go. You can take it with you on the road. You warm up for about 15 minutes, and then it walks you through step by step how to swing heavy weights, how to swing light weights, what form you should be taking, step swings, full swings, max swings, and you will end the program swinging the golf club faster and easier than you were when you started it. It's a guarantee. Like if you do what it says, you can do it every 2 days, every 3 days, you will gain speed. You can use code NOLAYINGUP with any purchase for 10% off. I know KVV's been doing it. He's been texting me all kinds of questions about how this whole thing works, but it's remarkably easy to use. You put the weights on, follow what the app says. It gamifies it. It's fantastic. Also for parents whose kids are into baseball, you can check out this. They have a baseball bat speed training program as well. I need to get some of the guys on the Reds. I need to get my guy Luis Arias in this training program as well. But the stacksystem.com/NLU, code no laying up. I cannot say enough great things about the stack.
Soly, Neil got me by about 40 or 50 yards on a couple drives. And I was like, all right.
It might be time to get it out of the box.
Yeah, TC might need to do some testing.
LIV Virginia this week at the best course in America, ?
According to Rick Shields.
According to Rick Shields at Robert Trent Jones. Joaquin Neiman. I was going to have you try to pronounce it, Neil, to see what you would go with there, but holds off.
Right?
It is, but for Neil, it's Joaquin Neiman.
Yeah, my guy Keen. Yo, Keen.
He holds off Anirban Lahiri for his 6th win on the LIV Tour. How many times would Neiman have to win on LIV to move the needle for you guys?
I mean, he would have to win like 4 or 5 times in 1 year, I think.
I mean, he's a very good golfer, but I think it's time for him to, bring it to the big stage at next week, at Oakmont. But I don't think he's probably not going to be there.
He'll be there.
He'll be there?
Yeah, he's in, right?
I think so.
He got a special exemption, right? He was the lead. The special exemption goes to the #1 player on LIV.
There we go. Okay. I was unsure because I don't,
I had to think on that for a second. Yeah. But yes, this is
God, it's so wild. They go to Merido after this, and then they go to Valderrama, and then they go to JCB, and then they go to Bolingbrook. They're just all over the place right now.
This is his 4th win of the season. I'm just getting word. He won Adelaide, Singapore, Mexico City, and now this one. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like Gonzaga winning their conference
blowing
championship.
Out the whack.
Yeah, like, all right, unless you're going to go do it in the Final Four, I just don't think winning your 11th straight whack is
up on Pepperdine and
I will say he's won on a variety of different courses. Robert Trent Jones, very different golf course than Mexico City. Say
correct. That is accurate.
How'd my cleats do?
Listen, I'm probably not great.
Ninth.
Yeah.
Well, they had their big drop this week. Blandy shot 65 in round 3. They had their big drop this week with public drip. Did you guys see that?
I did.
Yeah. I set some aside for you, TC. I'm sure it's sold out at this point.
The quote was, "The vibe is clear. This isn't about dressing like a golfer. It's about expressing style in a way that reflects where sport and street overlap and doing it with intent."
Nothing screams sport and street like Richard Bland. I'll tell you that.
Did you guys see my Instagram story where I threw that up with that quote with his picture on it? It's so good.
Sport and street.
It would be so good if this was a bit for them. Like, your clique stuff is so good because it's a bit. They're 100% serious. And there's people like the bots are out there like reinforcing it and like praising it as if it's a very real thing, and it just legitimately makes me laugh.
Red Harrington.
Oh my God, it makes me laugh so hard. I've been spending so much less time on Twitter that like I've kind of been like, man, LIV stuff has kind of died down. And like you just go back on there and you read one of like, oh my God, these people are still doing this, still doing it every week. Like I just cannot imagine this existence. Phil even had his first golf tweet since May 18th today. During the rain delay, he tweeted out that he had a 3-footer to tie the lead. He actually finished T4th. He had a ridiculous hole out today.
He tweeted that? Was it like, come watch? Like, call
He was
to
like, I have a
action?
3-footer to yeah, this is going to be fun. Come watch. Honestly, it worked on me. But as a fan of the High Flyers, the GM has just been tweeting about political stuff for the last several months, and
Stick to sports, Phil.
it's time to Phil answered some questions about the status of this franchise. I'm just trying to picture like a real sports league. Imagine like a GM just only tweeting like very political stuff, like politically charged stuff as their franchise tanks. How fans of that league and team would treat that.
Ask Dale Morey how that went. He did it once. It got ugly pretty quick for him.
Yeah. Matt Wolf withdrew after the first round. He was replaced on the Range Goats by Ollie Schneider-Jans. Jozo Ballester or Ballester or however you pronounce it. He signed the Fireballs.
Just went straight into the league midseason as well. Who got exiled from the Fireballs?
That's a good question. They've got Massivu, Sergio, Honest Abe, and then Ballester. Hold on.
What do you think Ballester, because he looks like he forfeited some Corn Ferry starts. What kind of number you think he's getting?
Oh, Poosh. What happened to Poosh?
Pooch get ousted?
I don't know.
We'll dive into this.
You heard it here.
Probably not a
folks.
ton of upfront. I'm not hearing.
Oh, he's injured. Poosh is injured.
I feel like he would need to get some upfront to forego.
I don't think so, because you get $120K for showing up every week. Like,
Okay,
I think
fair
he's
enough.
just like,
maybe he just
dude,
did
I'm
the
gonna go.
back of the napkin and was like, I'll just take the.
I'll play this league for as long as it exists, and then maybe pursue that. Like, it's just not the worst strategy in the world.
No, it's not. Like, I don't fault him for it.
Especially straight into playing for that, or like maybe grind it out like extremely hard on the Corn Ferry Tour, where you're just going to get put in a blender with another 150 similar guys to you. Like, that's not that hard of a decision. Am I shocked the guy that peed in Rays Creek and said he would do it again immediately signed with LIV? No, I'm not surprised by that, Neil. It just didn't shock me. So.
Listen, the Rays Creek thing, people made it sound like he was peeing like right in front of like 12 green. It was over by the woods off of 13. Like, it was deep in Rays Creek.
Everybody saw it.
Well, no, I think people standing along it
Guys,
wasn't
it's
like
not Rays Creek too. Isn't it a tributary?
that was a
of Rays
tributary
Creek?
to Rays Creek. That's the thing. It was a tribute. I think the reporting was wrong. As I understand it, it was off of 13 fairway, which I have less of a problem with.
Okay. I was also told this
show is off the rails.
This TV deal was going to be a big thing. They played on Fox Business on Saturday, and then they were FS2 and FS1
Fox
today.
Business is sick.
Fox Business on Saturday.
Which, listen, you can cast the first stones there, but I've seen the tour on MSNBC or CNBC or
Really?
What events?
Yeah, when?
They're
Never.
on USA this week with US Open, and then they moved to NBC.
I didn't.
Well, USA's in a ton
I was
of
not
houses.
making any comment on LIV's, like Bush League or whatever, because they're on. I just think Fox Business is funny because I don't think anyone watches Fox Business.
Yeah, they're flexing into USA because that's in more homes than the Golf Channel. Like, that's why the NBC does that. I don't think they were on FS2 because that's in more homes than Fox.
They should let Phil do a pregame show on Fox Business. He's been doing all sorts of economic tweets.
Hey guys, I gotta get out. I got a tea time. Sorry.
He was entertaining, man. He had his hole out was, I don't know if you guys saw that highlight. He's on like a bunker tongue, facing.
It was classic Phil.
It was classic
like,
Phil.
guys, it's really not that hard of a
Phil?
shot. Okay, it went like 90 degrees right. It was crazy.
Can we any dream for Phil this week? Will he make the cut at Oakmont?
I don't think it's a great setup for him.
I don't think any of the US.
Yeah,
Opens
based
are
on how what I watched in person, I watched it for 9 holes at Quail Hollow. Just the way he wails on driver to try to keep up with the young bucks, I don't think that's going to go well on a US Open setup.
So he's not qualified for next year.
correct.
Oh, we got to get him back to Shinnecock
That
just for old time's sake.
that would be the best way to go out. He should, if he's about to miss the cut, he should scoop it on 18 at Shinnecock. That should be the way. He should run after the putt and scoop it, and then just run straight to the parking lot.
I'm just getting word the Crushers won this week. They beat the Aces.
Yeah.
So
Fall of a dynasty.
that.
The Aces. On to the back 9. Actually, it's a back 6. We're playing an emergency 6 tonight in hopes to keep it this tight and get into U.S. Open week. Longest day of golf. Go ahead.
Real quick. Austin Smotherman did win in BMW Charity Pro-Am. But I wanted to give a shout out to T7, Travis Trace. Neil, keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
up and coming musician.
He sounds like
he got a Rookie
an
Artist of the
opening
Year
act
award
right
at the CMT. I saw that, or the CMAs.
He finished one stroke ahead of Bryce Lewis, who also sounds like he may be out there on the.
He's a little Bryce Lewis, a little grungier. You know, he's kind of got he's a little more outlaw country.
Where'd Blades Brown finish?
Spencer Levine, T13.
T24.
Love seeing that. So
anyways, on to the emergency 6 loop, the whiskey loop,
and then we're not doing anything with the LPGA Tour
this
week because Cupcho won, and it was one of their 54-hole events at the ShopRite, which we're good there.
We don't honor 54-hole events as tradition here. So, longest day in golf was on Monday. The U.S. Open qualifier seems like a long, long time ago. The big story: the pro was out carrying his own bag. Any other notables you had from qualifying on Monday?
Well, your dad wanted to caddy for him.
It was at my dad's club is where they played, and I made a joke in our Slack about like, oh, my dad probably offered to caddy. Sure enough, my dad did offer to caddy for him, but he said about 20 other people offered to caddy for him as well. But I think he was on a little walkabout. That sucked for me. He 3-putted the last hole to get into a play to end up in a playoff, and then ended up missing in the playoff.
And Cam Young won it, right?
Was that the same site? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. First of all, Soly, I apologize to your dad for having to. Cam Young did not win that one, but he did qualify. He won the playoff. He birdied the first playoff hole. He had Van Rooyen, Bud Cauley, Soly's guy Lanto, Justin Lauer, Harrison Ott, and Cam Young get through that one ahead of country music sensation Eric Cole, Max Homa, Ricky Fowler, Jimmy Hardkay, Ches,
Hodrick. Stacked.
Yeah, Norin. I do think, Soly, that's kind of an unbecoming qualifying site for U.S. Open
for 36 holes. Yeah,
that's in Columbus.
Yeah.
Kinsale Golf and Fitness Club. More of a fitness club than a golf course, I would say. It's just tricked up. It's just not, like Brookside.
Are you just dogging Soly's dad's course?
Oh, it's so unnecessary right now.
Come on, I would say, but I'll say Scioto, Columbus Country Club, Double Eagle, the golf club. There's so many.
Put it on.
Yeah, they probably don't want to host it.
Nobody else is. Go back to Brookside.
No, shout out to Kinsale for hosting it.
Exactly. But the Ohio Golf Association needs to step their shit up.
God, just
how many associations are going to be put on notice tonight?
GC's just down.
On the flip side, the Miami Valley Golf Association hosted another wonderful qualifier at Springfield Country Club, 6,600-yard golf course. 7 under got through as the medalist from that one. 5 under, 5 under, and 4 under. Our friend Zach Blair beat John Peterson in a playoff. Zach hit it to like 2 feet on number 4, which is one of the hardest holes I've ever played. So,
third time for Zach qualifying. And shout out to Matt Vogt from an amateur who plays in the Gasparilla, a dentist. That was the big story. He's going to get some run this U.S. Open. He was a former caddy at Oakmont. He qualified. I played with him actually one year when we filmed. He's in the background of a lot of our one of our Gasparilla videos. He qualified for the U.S. Open. It's freaking epic.
And then we had Luke Poulter finished first alternate out of Emerald Dunes down at West Palm. He beat Blades Brown by 1, Nikolai Højgaard by 2. So impressive stuff there. We could do a whole show on U.S. Open qualifying, which we don't need to do that today. But I love.
It's hard. It's always the worst timing for our podcast cadence of. It's like 6 days old at this point, but it was a really fun day to follow on Monday, guys. This is like the number one thing I'm buzzing on this week. You guys got to check it out. I don't think you guys. I know you're traveling and probably haven't. Bryson went to Oakmont on May 31st and filmed every single shot, and it is absolutely electric content. I've never, as far as I know, we've never had this going into a major of like one of the favorites of winning the tournament, just like filmed an entire practice round. One, just like getting to actually like have all these thoughts in my head from playing the course, looking at all the drone footage of what's going to fit all this. And then like TC on 10. He started on 10, and Bryson just drove it over the ditch on 10. Like, I didn't even think that was possible. His first hole of the day, and it was cold. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I got to recalibrate for that hole. I know not every player can do that, but that's different. I thought the whole point of the ditch
What did he
was
do on 11?
it was back into the wind, and he hit like a fairway wood on that, but it didn't get. He was like, "Oh, I would hit driver if I went to do it again," because that back tee is way farther back than how we played 11. But
Okay.
it was like one. It was an incredible look at the golf course for next week. It was cold, and it's probably going to play a little bit different. But it's two. It was like watching Bryson. I don't watch a lot of his YouTube stuff. I just don't have the time. It's like first time I've ever sat down and just watched a video from beginning to end. Watching him embrace the role, like I truly believe he enjoys being a content creator more than he does a professional golfer. Like he just
100%.
is doing like a cookie cutter. I mean, it's very gooberish, but just like an impression of a YouTube golfer, just like talking to camera, like, "Oh, let's go. We need a birdie here, guys. Guys, I thought we had a birdie there." It's so funny to me, one, to watch, but also watching him flip the switch and talk with Jibo, his caddy, about like all the golf shots and like how he does the calculations and how fast he does them kind of just blew my mind of just like, all right, we're 210, playing 218, 1030, 6-iron, go. Boom. And his club's in his hand, he goes. Like it's really, and watching him calculate how he does things on putts. I mean, we don't get the actual audio when he does this on the golf course. So to get that breakdown as well of how he breaks putting down into the most mathematical and simple way possible. And like he hit one putt where like the putt is 6 feet out and he knew it was in based on the aim point and everything he had done. And it was just, it's an electric video. It was really, really impressive. And it was just great to watch literally and it's just amazing again to watch of just like how much being really long at driving just neutralizes a golf course. Of just like
any other surprises?
Not really surprises other than just like, oh, I thought this was going to be really complicated. And if you just pound a drive 330, none of it's complicated after that was frustrating. He had a good driving day, I would say, and he didn't get himself into thick rough with driver, which is like what I think we're all waiting to see is will the thick rough throttle these guys in a lot of spots, and it just never really happened for him. He was in some thick rough around the greens. He was way too dramatic about he like dropped a ball just off 12 or off of 11 tee in like the heather, like this is the rough we got to deal with this week, guys, like Kevin Na style.
Like Kevin Na, like find the longest shit that's not in play on the course and then drop the ball there.
It was very silly, but I thought, the back nine definitely played easier. I mean, the drivable 17th, I mean, 17 was super easy for him, and 2 were just like super easy pound driver. I think he hit fairway wood on 17, but just drove it right up there and made easy birdies. But the greens were still not there yet. I mean, like it is a good look at the course, but I think everything is going to come. They're going to do their best to make this place come alive. I think they've gotten Juan tweeted out they've got 13 inches of rain over the last since like May 10th or something like that.
Had a drenched city the last couple of days too. So
it's tough, but yeah, they could tell like the greens still didn't have that bite, which I think is going to be kind of the whole thing. But yeah, just Bryson, just his commitment to being like an AI generated YouTube golfer, while also being one of the best in the world, is just fascinating. Like it really was, and it's such a more enjoyable version. Like I don't think Bryson is absolved of all of his sins character-wise, but this version is a lot more entertaining, and I'm at least happy for him that he's found this outlet to kind of do something like and use it. This is way more interesting to me than Break 50. Like I just don't care to watch any of those videos, but this was like, oh, I get to preview a major course. Like this is good shit. So shout out to him on that. Stick is out on Apple TV. Have you guys sampled this yet? Are you interested?
We're gonna skip over the data golf.
I'm moving some stuff around here. I'm moving some stuff around here.
All right. Yes, I have not sampled Stick yet.
I'm not. I saw the trailer. I wasn't.
I also don't have Apple TV.
Jonesing to watch it, Soly.
Apple TV doesn't really miss though. Is the only
feel like they've missed a few.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen much.
Well, they lean into like a lot of the sci-fi stuff too, which just isn't really for me. Maybe I'll fire it up at some point. You know, I know you guys talked about Happy Gilmore coming out next.
Yeah, you had a very significant role in that, right?
No, not at all. But if there's a very good chance that they cut the scene I would have a cameo in, and if they did, it probably was like just a waste of $1 million. And so
filming it,
yeah, I mean, like
$1 million,
be crazy. What? Say again, TC?
$1 million?
I think so, based on the venue that was rented out for this scene. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'll talk about it after the movie comes out. But I'm curious. I have no idea if your boy's gonna make an appearance or not.
Are you like a SAG?
If you think he's joking,
like
like Neil was an
like a
extra
SAG Guild
in this,
actor now?
yeah.
No, but I kind of weaseled my way into like a SAG like reserved role. I just kind of kept like I moved some guy. All of a sudden, everyone was asking me, was like, "Oh,
dangerous thing in Jersey to do that, Neil."
Sure. I respect unions, TC, a big union guy as a member of the IBOD, but I didn't do anything wrong. I just kind of it's a non-speaking part, but it could be interesting. We'll see. I'm worried the movie sucks though. I'm very worried about that.
I had the same concerns when I saw the trailer, Neil. But moving on, the Data Golf, they had a great blog this past week about the likelihood of Scotty's future in majors. FanDuel, as we mentioned on the show, that's something that they famously set the over-under at 9.5 after the PGA. Now, this measurement from FanDuel would include like time value of money, which is something I wish I would have mentioned at the time. It probably overstates the probability of getting to 9.5, but basically like, if you're, to make it worthwhile for them to do, they're not going to do a small number and blah, blah, blah. But Data Golf says there's a 63% chance he finishes with 6 or more and a 46% chance he finishes with 7 or more, setting that line right around 6.5. Basically, the simulations estimate 3.8 more majors. And they got a bunch of really, really good granular stuff in there to say, like, as long as Scotty is this 3+ strokes gain level per round, this is like his best opportunities. And when you like fall back into the 2 range is when you get put in the blender and your opportunities, your win rate is going to dip significantly. Granted, there's not a lot of comparables above this 3 level because it's basically just him and Tiger that have lived there, but highlights how fast his opportunities can kind of disintegrate. But does that seem fair? That line of 6.5.
I think that's the exact line I said on the show, right? Like that feels like, and I felt like I was like, man, I got to take 7. I'm going to take the over. 7 feels kind of like the number for me. But yeah, I think that's a very good line.
Yeah, and there's not really that many shitty venues that we could simulate. Like I would say, like let's just not even play the tournament and just give him that one. But yeah,
it's
no,
such
I think
an advantage at Augusta too. Like the easiest one to win and a massive course fit there plays into it. And they do highlight like the Open's the hardest one to win for people just because there's more variables in that, and that's traditionally been the case. But they have this probability of winning the career Grand Slam is still only at 37%, which I did find interesting. I thought that would have been more likely that he would finish the career Grand Slam. The fact that he's still yet to win the Open, the most difficult major for high skill players to win, isn't helping his chances, but he will have a great shot at one later this summer. If he had already won the Open but hadn't won the Masters, his Grand Slam probability would be 42%. So only still up 5%.
Makes sense.
So,
sorry, I did want to
blog.
say,
check that out. It's on Letzig's latest.
DJ, I always enjoy Letzig's latest. Flip side, DJ sent over Rick Gemin. Rick Run Good, always a good follow on X, but hated his tweet today about Johnny Miller. He did the U.S. Open account tweeted Johnny Miller at Oakmont, first to shoot 63 in a major, and he did it on Championship Sunday. Is it the greatest round in major history? And Rick said, no, it's actually the 38th greatest round in major history, which don't be that guy. Don't do that. It's a top 5 greatest round in major history, along with Tommy's 63 at Shinnecock.
Don't do that, TC.
God
Don't right back at you. Don't do
stop.
that. Just take it away. Take it all away. Tommy's 63. Come on, man. That was right after they lost the course and they set up the easy pins for him.
That's the only way Tommy was shooting 63.
There's no easy pins out there.
So I think like what he's probably getting at is just in strokes gained per round.
No, I know exactly
rounds
what
played. But I think what should be considered is the greatest. It's like factor in it was a required 63 to win. Like there were not shots to spare here. Like if you want to use a baseball stat there, the win probability added with that is like 99.999999% round. Like there's not going to be a more significant.
It's just ignoring all context and course and venue and setting and competitors and all of that stuff.
It is such a sick like thing to go to reread all the clubs he was hitting into it. Like they have that in the on the Wikipedia page for the 1973 U.S. Open. It's like first hole, driver 3-iron to 5 feet, birdie. 2 is 343 yards, driver 9-iron to a foot. 3, driver 5-iron. Made birdie there. Number 4, driver 3-wood, bunker shot to 6 inches. It goes shot by shot for the whole thing. We should have done DJ might have some of that cooked up for us for tomorrow. We got some preview stuff
Well,
coming
I
up.
actually have a mea culpa on Oakmont US Opens in our Vegas video that we just put out. Tommy Armour 1.0, the Silver Scott. He won the US Open at Oakmont in 1927. I said 1930. He won the PGA Championship in 1930. That's on me. I maybe dyslexic on the Wikipedia page, but we don't have fact checkers here at NLU, so I'm going to have to just hand up. I wish I didn't put that one on tape.
Now we got to pull that video down.
I know. I feel bad about that. I honestly feel bad about that one because I feel like I studied up on writing out that script and I just missed, guys. I missed.
When
misinformation.
When Andy Martinez used to caddy for Zach, I remember talking to him about caddying for Johnny Miller. I think he caddied for him like that season. He was his longtime caddy for Johnny Miller, and he was just telling us like how many times like a tournament Johnny would hit the stick. It's insane. Just like he was truly, there's the whole, I don't know if it's an urban legend or if he actually did this, but he gave him his yardages to the foot. Inside of a certain number.
All right, I believe TC is having some technical difficulties. We're on AirPods now, but you guys did a little traveling this past week. Played a little golf, I believe. The Gram was making me quite a bit envious. Where were you guys doing? Where were you guys? What were you guys doing? How was it?
Well, TC flew into LaGuardia, picked him up, and a goal from earlier this year was within 3 hours of the city, need to explore golf in the area a little bit better. I think we all had that goal. And so TC, he came up here to help me do that. And we had a blast. We went north, up into the upstate New York, up the Hudson Valley.
Before we got there, we went to, we hung out with John and Alex at Holderness and Bourne. We played Tamarack Country Club in Greenwich, Connecticut, which I don't think I've been that, like, had a course just blow my face off like that in a while. Spectacular. Charles Banks, I think he did it right after he helped Rayner with Fisher's Island, and recently touched up by Brian Schneider, took out a ton of trees. What a great,
it was awesome.
Great golf course. It was sick.
This kind of highlights the density of golf in Westchester and just in the New York area. Like, really, I've heard the name Tamarack, didn't know anything about it. It was like, oh, how is this place not getting more attention? And then, just a road trip up through Albany to Troy. Went to Country Club of Troy, which was an awesome, kind of rugged mountain mountain course.
Walter Travis. It was Steve, the chairman of the Greens Committee, and another friend of the program, David. They were awesome. Just really cool course. Chris, the superintendent, was lovely there. Neil, what did you think of the Sunnyside pitch and putt after that?
I was delighted by it. Open at night, kept the lights on a little later for us. I believe the lights are on by city ordinance till 10 p.m. But I love a lit short course. TC had a blast there, and then went up to Glenn's.
Great greens, little plateaus and stuff. It was wild, Soly. There was a spot. There was a hole that played over this lake from a secret tee box. Did you ever read the books The Berenstain Bears when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Do you remember No Girls Allowed? I
don't think
that
so.
one. There was a book in the Berenstain Bears series where they build this tree house on an island, and then they won't let any of the girl bears in.
No, just a clubhouse. The boys wouldn't let the girls into the tree house, and so the girls built the clubhouse
on the
with
island.
A moat, which we put moats on the list of things that are sick as well. But it was like, that's where we're like, oh my God, we found where the clubhouse used to be, was this tee box to this little par 3. Anyway, we filmed all of this. So this will be a video that you'll see in early September. I think the highlight kind of culmination of the trip was up in Glens Falls, which was a fantastic Donald Ross course up there in the hills, I guess above or just south of Lake George, which was a
just
very
south.
striking body of water.
Looked like Switzerland.
Yeah, so got all the way up there, about 3.5 hours north of New York City.
Played
2-day trip, 3-day trip. It was great.
We went and explored the New York State Capitol, Empire Plaza there in Albany. That place is wild. Went up to the Sugarloaf Field Club, where Ian Gilly and the boys special 1-of-1 hat here for me. Field Club, no vowels, upside down, backwards.
And neon.
Well done.
The Field Club was awesome. They have 4 greens and kind of a myriad ways to play that. And then they hosted us at Glens Falls, which I would say if you're a member at Glens Falls or White Bear Yacht Club, you need to get in touch with one another and have an every year or an every other year like home and home match, because those 2 places are 2 Donald Ross birds of a feather golf courses that are just so eerily reminiscent of one another. So and then it was a great trip. Very very productive, and weather was awesome. So
And then I drove us all home, and then TC headed out on to Long Island for some bonus G.
Played some bonus G, and then actually saw LD at breakfast one morning. They're in Southampton. We're just at one of the local
How about that
spots, and Larry David just sitting there having breakfast, having a bagel and some coffee. It's delightful. So
How about that?
Well,
we look forward to that content, as I'm sure.
Soly, I would say though, it made me excited to play golf when I didn't have to get on a plane, and to see new things in like the general vicinity that gets me fired up, and I need to do more of that on my own. Even without the cameras. So I think it's going to be a very, very fun video, and I highlight of the year for sure.
I think there's about 10 more courses up there that are like worth playing. It looked cool. So awesome hospitality. The golf was great. People were even better. So and then Soly, we're getting all sorts of feedback on the East Lothian pod. Physical threats coming in from people at Craigie Law, from members at Craigie Law Golf Club, which is right there next to Kilspindy. We've been told from multiple people that we trust that we don't need to play that one. I think they have a par 3 course that's ringed with houses on the outside. But it's in fantastic shape, and I think they're having Open Championship final qualifying there this year. So it must be a great course. All is absolved. So no, I think we were just a little bit dismissive of it, and they did not take kindly to that. The North Berwick Dunbar stuff is at fever pitch. I think the North Berwick people are hot and bothered about some of those takes. I stand by them. I'll also say I think that North Berwick, I think it's causing a real problem that they've been so high on the tourist dollar hog for the last decade or so, where they haven't raised the dues for members, and so none of the members are leaving. So they can't get any new members in, and I think that's a real problem. And it seems to be a problem at a lot of popular places around Scotland. Where
the C-suite wants to price people out.
No,
Shocking.
the olds are gatekeeping here, and none of the youngs can get in. These early 30-somethings that have paid their dues at other clubs and been on the waiting list for forever, or even into their 40s.
Again,
so the answer is raising the price.
The title of the pod was planning a trip to East Lothian. It was not the internal political issues of all of the golf clubs of East Lothian, Scotland.
100% as well. That's what I said. I will say to the Gullen people, we didn't slag it all. I think Rue was maybe a little bit dismissive of Gullen. Gullen 1 sounds fantastic, proper golf course. Gullen 3, sign me up. I want to play there. That place sounds awesome.
But Gullen 2, no thanks.
Yeah, I haven't heard a whole lot about Gullen 2.
Okay.
Although I did see Gullen had some hats come out that said GUL apostrophe N. Not good. So
I've never played any of the Gullen, so
okay.
I would like to.
Actually, I got a new hat too. This one came in the mail today. This is from US.
I got my
Doers.
Worst.
No free ads. So. And then anything else? No, I think that's it. I think the Craigie Law people you guys need to take a long look in the mirror, because I think the way that a lot of the other clubs around Edinburgh and East Lothian feel about you guys, poke around a little bit there.
Thank you, TC, for the update from East Lothian. Obviously, we have a lot to be excited about this coming week. We got live shows all week, beginning 3 p.m. Eastern on Monday on the No Laying Up podcast YouTube channel. We have started going live with our official preview of major championships. Just get out in the world a little bit faster. You can get involved in the comment section, harass us, all that stuff. They're very fun. Come join live. That is a separate than our normal YouTube channel. But if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just right here. Hit subscribe, and you'll be right there. Great. And DJ's doing a little deep dive stuff. We may have a little trivia game in that one as well.
Can we bring back
the winners
Sporkle?
We can do that on Wednesday. Let's Sporkle on Wednesday.
Okay.
How about that? Because we have a 4 p.m. Eastern Wednesday happy hour, our final picks, our news of the week, all of that. And then we're going to be live after coverage wraps after every single round. We got some fun stuff lined up. Come hang. They're the best weeks of the year. I'd say Masters and U.S. Open are the two best weeks for shows and all that. I love me some Open Championship, but it's the middle afternoon. It's just different having it at night.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. So
Amen.
come on by. Brought to you by High Noon, of course. So. And Neil, you have an announcement.
Yeah, I've been cleaning out the office, and so we're gonna do a mystery box giveaway of stuff from my office. I already got it picked out. It's actually a pretty nice haul. So we're gonna basically do a giveaway to one new subscriber. So subscribe.nolayingup.com/giveaway. Who knows? I might break it into one giveaway for a new subscriber and one for a current subscriber. Who can say? It's totally up to me. But go to subscribe.nolayingup.com/giveaway. Sign up for our email newsletter. Great place to learn about our events. There were a bunch of those this week. Stankonia Classic in Georgia, the Extinction at Mammoth Park, Classic Club Championship
Mammoth.
up in Michigan.
Park Mammoth,
excuse me. The Summit at Mount Prospect, the Three Rivers Showdown up in Pittsburgh. A lot of majors going on in Pittsburgh right now.
Throwdown.
Throwdown. Who's counting? And then the Royal and Ancient Company of Dishonorable Golfers over in Europe had the Gauntlet, which is their roost major.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. There we go. How about that? So
did you go 0 for 4 there?
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to shout out some roosts, man. I was going down the list pretty quick, reading some fine print. Anyway. Email. The reason I bring that up, email is a great place to learn about our events, learn about new merch in the pro shop, including this here shirt that I'm wearing, which is a nice new Levelwear piece that we got out. Shout out to the Canadians up at Levelwear.
This one's sick as well.
We got some great stuff in the shop right now and some great stuff coming later this summer. So again, subscribe.nolayingup.com/giveaway. Get on that email newsletter and maybe get a mystery box from yours truly.
We did not make it under an hour, but we kept it as tight as we possibly could.
Fun.
Again, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was a delight. Gosh, and I cannot wait for this week. Gonna be a lot of Oakmont content. We posted some stuff on social media this week, just some drone footage and some just thoughts on the golf course. Feel free to follow us there and check those out as well. We had a great trip up there. Our preview we had a podcast that came out on late last week. If you haven't seen it, TC and I chatted about our trip up to Oakmont, and then as well an interview with Jeff Hall from the USGA. Just all of the course-related preview stuff will be contained there, and we're going to talk storylines starting tomorrow. So it's going to be a great week. Come join us. Come hang.
Golf Canada, this is your final warning. Lawrence Applebaum and the gang, get it together, okay? Please, on behalf of your fellow countrymen, get it together.
Thank you, TC. Thank you, Mr. Neil. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you back here this week.
Cheers.